Good evening, everybody. It's August 1st, 2021. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. As expected, we are now seeing a rejection from my red zone here, and we should be making our way down to this green zone for the blue 4 here. And if we can hold this zone and then break out into this area up here, we're going to be looking really good for the bottom already being struck way back here at 28.8. So this is exactly what we need to see in order to prove, not beyond a reasonable doubt, but for all intents and purposes, prove that the bottom is in, and make it that much more likely anyway. Of course, anything can happen, especially when you're dealing with crypto. But if we can complete these 5 waves up and get us up into this 44 to 47 area after holding this 37 to 35 area, then that's a very good sign for the bulls. So a couple things to look at here. First off, if we zoom in, this double top is essentially meaningless in my opinion when it comes to Elliott wave theory. There's not really much you can do with it except for kind of just reset your expectation. Okay, so that's B, it doesn't really matter which one of these is B, but basically we double topped and kind of tested again to say, yeah, that's actually B, right? So we're now in this C wave, and again, keep in mind that I might be wrong. Maybe this is the top here of 3. It just, this action didn't follow along with the rest of the pattern, and so I'm more inclined to say that we're getting this kind of weird expanded flat correction with a high B and a low C. Similar looking thing here. So just real quick, if I'm wrong and this is 3, then instead of this 1 move down, we'll see a 3 wave down, like this, A, B, and C down, something along those lines. So that's always possible, or potentially even deeper. I mean, it could go A, B, C, any configuration of that. But I think the best assumption right now is that we're in the final leg of this. So we should only have 1 leg down here in this correction. Okay, so that's all well and good. We know where the ideal range is for it to go, which is down here. Another way that we can try to determine this as well, let's just do this real quick, is if we draw a fib from the 3, which is here, to the 2, which is here, like so, 3 down to 2, and we make it a different color so we can actually see it. Okay. Then the ideal place for this to go is between the 764 or the 786 and the 618. So basically anywhere in here, which gives us some overlap with this green box that I got from the 1-2. So that just gives us potentially more of a target area there. I could see it topping out a little bit early here. And I did say that earlier, based on how deep this 2 is, we may see a more shallow 4 than would be expected. If you get a deep 2, sometimes you get a shallow 4 instead. So this could honestly go just to 38,000, and that would be enough to fulfill this correction downwards. So that's one way to look at it. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this orange fib now just to clear things up. Okay, so we still have the green box there. We've got the green box here, which is based on the fib extensions, because 3 hit the 1.382 on the blue fib. We really expect it to go down to the 764, but with the high B, it might go up to the 1. So anywhere in here is expected for that. So again, that's where I'm talking about this overlap now. And then I talked about potential for finding kind of the midline of this choppy region here, okay, which is right about there, 39.8, something like that. And if we draw price range from that to the top in this B, and then duplicate it, we can expect a similar movement downwards from that midline, and that's this red line that I have drawn, so that's 37K. So we have that as a potential target zone there, and I'm just going to put that as like a green potential support line there. So now we have an even more specific line, so 37K looks like a really great target. And then finally we can look at within this C wave what's happening. And when you're dealing with C waves, typically you're going to look for 5 waves within it on the micro scale. So I'm going to go down to the 15-minute here. And best I can figure at this point in time is that this would be our 1 right here and a little 2 here. So under that assumption, 1 and 2, like this, under that assumption, then we just probably completed 3 of 3. We'll come up a little bit and press down a little bit further. Hang on, let me change this color so it's easier to see. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, so 3 of 3, and we'll press down a little bit further. So we will likely see this go to this area next. So overnight, a little press down into here is to be expected. And then we should see pump up just a little bit into here for wave 4. Okay, and this is assuming it's actually going to show us a impulsive move down. It could certainly do some sort of diagonal, but at the moment, based on how strong this move is, we've got nice volume and stuff, it looks pretty good to be that third wave that we're looking for. And then we'll look for a final push down, which is ideally in this range right here, based on this being the 1 and this being the 2. So that's between 37.6 and 38. So that again kind of brings us into the possibility of maybe we're going to go a little bit shallower because of that. So there's our potential path on the micro. 1, 2, 3 to here, 4 to here, 5 down somewhere into there. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that ends up progressing. And go from there within this C wave. So I think, you know, based on all of this, I'll probably start scaling out of my shorts a little bit earlier than planned, and kind of tighten up my region more between like 38 to, 37 to 38, somewhere in that range. I think seems like the ideal place for this to go. We can still go further down. I mean, any of this is legitimate. If we see some extension in this, if this dumps down further, than this green box, something like that, and then has like a really shallow 4, then all of this can get moved down and go further down into that area there. The other possibility would be if somehow this is incorrect, that's not the 1, that's not the 2, and maybe this is the 1 here and we haven't done 2 yet. That is possible as well, in which case we'll have to come up and basically reset that 2. So wherever it goes, if this comes up, basically if this comes up higher than this, somewhere up here, it would kind of reset it like that, and then we'd have a larger 1, 2, and then we'd move down to a 3, 4, and 5, closer to the 35K range. So kind of counterintuitively, it's actually more bullish for this to just keep on dumping and hit these targets rather than get a bounce and then a dump after that. Because if we bounce and then dump again, we're probably going down closer to 35 in that case. So so based on all of this, I don't think we are done with this correction yet, although it's certainly possible, like I said, to have a shallow one. So what I'm planning on doing is I've got basically, I shorted like 42K is my my average short. So I'm just going to set break-even stops on those shorts now. They're hedges anyway against my spot buys. So set break-even shorts. It really shouldn't go up higher than that. So 42K is a great place to stop out break-even. And if it stops me out, then so be it. You know, we're already in 4 then. We'll have just a really shallow one. And then we should progress upwards, break through this green downtrend line, and be looking golden. So so that is the plan. Break-even stops. But at the moment, I am expecting to progress a little bit further down here into the 37 to 38K range, probably most realistically at this point, but potentially a little bit lower as well. The other thing that we have to keep in mind, obviously, is this hourly RSI is very bottomed, PPO is bottomed, but on the hourly chart, obviously we see that, you know, stay topped out, stay bottomed out for quite a while. This can certainly just have a little bounce and then come down and do a double bottom on the RSI in order to give us these lower targets. So don't take those hourly RSI readings as gospel. The 4-hour still has plenty of room to come down. It's only at 45 right now. It's got plenty of room to move down lower, and the PPO is still not bottomed out. That has room to go lower. I wouldn't expect a bottom to actually be in until we saw some green on the PPO here. And then let's go over to the daily and look and see if there's anything of note here. As I was saying, this RSI was looking topped out on the daily, and we would probably see it come down to retest at some point. So that would really require probably another day or two of red candles coming downwards into this zone in order to see the RSI actually drop. At a minimum, to test that green uptrend that was previously broken, but even better would be for it to come all the way down to test the blue downtrend that it broke out of. I would love to see that because that would give me a lot of confidence then that that is in fact the bottom, and we can proceed upwards from there into the next wave, which, as I said, once again, should be somewhere around here, about 45 to 47K. All right, so that is pretty much the update on Bitcoin. Set those break-even stops if you're short with me, and let's see how tomorrow and the next couple of days play out. All right, good night, everybody.